I just bought this brand new truck with the money I saved from selling my property, and I'm going to teach you how to do it in this video in 5 easy steps. Have a look at this. So I'm very, very proud of myself for what I've just done. Let's dive into it. The property I just sold is based on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. So what I'm about to share with you will mostly apply to Queensland, but also the other states of Australia, and beyond that in other countries, I'm just not sure. Real estate commissions where I live are deregulated, meaning real estate agents can charge whatever they like. But on average, it works out to be 3% plus GST, or 3.3% of the total purchase price. Given the average house price on the Sunshine Coast where I live is now $1 million, that means the average real estate agent's commission would be $30,000 plus GST, or $33,000. Now, I don't know about you, but $30,000, $33,000 is a lot of money to me. If you were to save $100 a week, it would take you over 6 years to save that much money. So I was interested in if I could sell my property myself to save that money so that I could buy my new car out there. And it turns out it was a lot easier than I thought. Selling your own home is perfectly legal, and all you need is 1 hour per week to make this happen. Step number 1, the valuation. To value my home, what I did was I jumped on realestate.com.au and I had a look at my street address, the history of it, and it actually came up with a fresh valuation estimate, which had a fair bandwidth. I think it had about a $60,000 bandwidth, a low value and a high value, based on the condition of the property. So I used that as a guide, along with some of the other similar properties in my area, and taking into account the condition of my place to come up with a price. Step number 2, the photos. To take some photos of the property, I contacted a professional local company called Open to View. I'll leave a link to them down below there on the Sunshine Coast, but you can use any professional real estate photographer. It costs me around $349 for their basic package. It goes up from there, $450 if you want the drone footage. And they also do a floor plan included in that. So they come out, get photos of your property. It takes about an hour, and then they email those to you the next day, and you've got these beautiful photos to present your property in the listing. Step number 3 is the listing itself. I used a company called No Agent. You can find them on noagent.com.au, and they actually organize your listing for you. The fee was around $790, and that gets uploaded into all of the big real estate sales websites like realestate.com.au and Domain. And it took me about 30 minutes to load in my property information. To write the listing itself, I actually just looked on the previous sale of my property on realestate.com.au, and I copy and pasted that and just modified it a little bit so it had the write-up about my home and all of the features. I had to add in a few things because I'd added a couple of things, and then I used my photos from the professional photographer and I uploaded them on there. I took my valuation and my price and I put a price on there. I made it an offers over type thing. You've got some options with that. You can have a price, you can say by negotiation, you can say make me an offer. I put an offers over and put my number in there, and then the listing went up and went live through all of the major websites. Step number 4, the inspections. Since I knew I would always be home on a Saturday, I made 10 a.m. Saturday mornings my inspection time. I put that on the listing, and then basically people would just rock up each Saturday at 10 a.m. and I would open the house, and for 1 hour and only 1 hour per week, show everybody through the home. The advantage of the inspection type approach to showing people through the property meant I only needed 1 hour per week to do this, so it was very time efficient, but it also created an energy at the house during that hour because there are other people and the potential buyers see the other potential buyers, and I feel like it just generates a little bit of competition, maybe a little bit of urgency for people to make an offer. Doing the actual inspections was quite easy. I would just open the property up, show people through. If they ask questions, answer any questions and point out any key features of the property. At the end of the inspection, if people were interested in making an offer, they would ask for my number or my email, which they already had from the listing itself. And then the first offers started coming in. Thankfully, a good offer came in at around the 4 to 5 week mark, and I was ready to go to contract. To go to contract and accept the offer, I contacted my conveyancing solicitors and I asked them to prepare the contract for me, which they included in their conveyancing fee. Which brings me to step 5, which is going to contract. As I mentioned, my conveyancer prepared the contract for me on the standard REIQ Real Estate Institute of Queensland terms. So each contract is different for each state of Australia. So you want your conveyancer to prepare this for you. I just had to give them the price, the full names of the buyer, their address, and any other terms we'd agreed on. So we agreed on a 14-day building and pest inspection and a 21-day finance clause, and then a 45-day settlement time frame, which is pretty common here in Queensland. So once I got that draft contract from my solicitor, they sent that to the buyer's solicitor to check over. The buyer signed it. They put down a deposit into my solicitor's trust account, and we went through the conditions. Building and pest passed, finance passed, and then we settled, and I got my money 45 days later. In the process of moving, I started to sell some furniture on Facebook Marketplace, and in all honesty, it was more of a pain to sell my lounge than it was my house, because I got bombarded with all these weird fake people on the internet, and people wanted to come around and look at it. No, they were more picky. Whereas with a home, people tend to come, they see it, they love it, they buy it, contract down. It was all extremely simple. 1 hour per week, and 45 days later, I got paid, and I saved what I think is a huge amount of money, somewhere in the vicinity of, $20,000 to $30,000 is a lot of money. And for me, I'd rather put it into a brand new truck like I just have. In terms of the actual negotiating for the price, it's no different to selling a piece of furniture on Marketplace or your own car, which a lot of people do anyway. So it's the same idea. You have your price, an offer is made, usually below that price, somewhere close. If it's a good offer, you might counter offer to that, or depending on how much real estate is being sold in your area, how hot the market is, you might just stand firm and make them come up. But it's all very, very easy, particularly if the market's good and things are selling like it's currently been in my market. So I found that part very easy. A good offer was made. I made a counter offer. We settled on a price. Very, very simple. Guys, I'm going to put a link to noagent.com.au down in the description below, as well as the photographer I use. But you could use any company that's similar to that, that's going to get your listing onto the major websites to sell real estate in Australia. And when you save some bucks like that, you might as well put it into some toys. So you got to listen to this thing. I'm going to start it up. You got to listen to this baby purr. Hope you guys enjoyed this video.